And hello, how's everybody doing out there? My name is Jeff Holiday, and this is another one of Fascinating People where I get to interview one of my patrons. And I am joined today by Steven. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Just woke up.
Oh
But
yeah, because you're on the other side of the world.
yeah, South Korea.
Damn. And you're there because of the military?
Yep.
Awesome, man. What branch?
Army.
Cool. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're here to talk about you, to learn a little bit more about you, and also to test out the brand new mic setup. Pretty stoked about that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up and where you come from.
Well, we moved around a lot. I never grew up where I lived where I was born because my dad was in the military
Military
as
brat, yeah.
well, and so we moved around a lot. And when my dad was gonna PCS to out to Louisiana, my parents were having some issues, and they ended up getting a divorce shortly after we moved there. And
Oh,
so I stayed with my mom in Louisiana while my dad went to out to California
oh,
to
damn. What
one.
part? What part of Louisiana?
It was bumfuck nowhere. It was like 4 hours from any like super major city.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was 4 hours from Houston, 4 hours from New Orleans. So it was like, what's the point? Like the nearest like actual city was like 30 minutes away, but it was still
Tiny
out there.
pissant.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know Louisiana pretty well, and it's an interesting place, especially when you're
Oh
not in the
yeah.
cities.
Oh yeah. It was near Fort Polk. So
Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I know about that. I know Fort Polk. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
wild.
It's actually infamous among the army for being one of the shittiest places you can go because there's nothing to do.
It's not as bad. I would say it's probably not as bad as Minot Air Force Base. Minot Air Force Base, but people would rather be sent to Alaska than Minot because Minot, North Dakota.
Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah,
Yeah. But
but yeah, that's wild. So you ended up living with your mom in Louisiana.
and then I started like not really giving a shit about my grades, and so she sent me to my dad's in Alabama once he moved there.
Mm,
So I moved there when I was 17 to finish high school, which I did, and then tried a little bit of college, but ended up hating it. So I was like, why not the military?
why not? It's a damn good job. That's for damn sure.
Mhm.
Hmm. That's cool. So how long you been in?
Only not even a year. Like
Not even here.
next month will be my year mark.
Right on. You like it though?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Get to travel the fucking world, be in South Korea for fuck's sake. That's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah.
Pretty great. It's better than the Navy when they go to when they go to South Korea. My buddy was worked on a destroyer, and
Hmm.
he'd get like 2 weeks in Seoul, and then he'd be like off the coast of North Korea for like 3 months.
Yeah, it depends. Like I'm down near the coast right now because that's where I'm stationed, and it sucks because you have a curfew because for some reason when people come to Korea they lose their fucking minds.
Really? Oh, do tell.
Like the reason why we have a lot of the like some of the restrictions we do for South Korea is because people like ended up like murdering and raping the fucking civilians and shit.
Holy shit.
Like it's fucking crazy.
Oh
Like
my
it's
God.
crazy. Like for some reason people lose their fucking shit here.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, is it tense being in Korea? I mean, I I, I kind of figure most people didn't really take necessarily the threat from the north too bad, so I wouldn't imagine there's like a whole lot of like
Yeah.
psychological stress.
It's me. Like sometimes I'll be like, maybe a bomb's gonna go off or something, but it's not, it probably isn't. Like
Right.
likelihood isn't very high right now. And when
Yeah.
people, it's funny because like a lot of my sergeants and stuff will get calls from their parents and stuff. Be like, "Oh, are you okay over there?" They're saying on the news, and it's like they're just blowing it up for sensationalism.
Right. Yeah. That's what the media usually does. Somebody in the chat's saying maybe it's because of the soju.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I had a viewer send me a bunch of bottles of soju, and I never really thought soju was supposed to make you kind of wacky, but it does. You get a little weird.
Yeah, I don't drink, so I wouldn't know.
It's probably for the best, yeah. Just in case you don't want the wacky juice going on, man.
Yeah. Especially
So
considering my dad was a violent drunk, but he like it was never like a problem. He knew not to take it that far,
sure,
especially when
sure,
me and my little brother were born.
gotcha, absolutely. Yeah. So one of the things that we were talking about off video was that you are a very, very large proponent of skepticism and
Mhm.
rationalism as a basic functionary method. And I was curious because everybody's journey to figuring out how they're going to perceive the world is different. How did that come about for you?
I was bored with church.
You're born with the church.
I was bored with the church.
Oh, you're bored with the church. Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
was uh I was just sitting at my friend Chris's house or my friend's Chris's I can't speak. My friend's my friend Chris's couch one day and was just like, I don't feel like going to church tomorrow. I really don't. And so
Mm.
I was like, you know what? I think this might be a legit excuse not to go. Mom, I'm an atheist. so and so so I was like, I might want to sound legit. So I started thinking about it and eventually just came to the conclusion that, maybe I don't believe this stuff because I always had like, you know, questions in the back of my mind that I would push out of my mind because of the fear of hell.
Sure. Yeah.
But all of a sudden those questions came flooding back and I was like, maybe I don't believe this stuff. Told you laugh. Fucking hilarious.
That's really good though. That's really good. Um I mean, I can relate quite a bit too. You know, the tangible fear of hell is something that absolutely weighed on my mind quite a bit when I was
Mhm.
growing up, because I grew up in the church as well. So I can sympathize quite a bit with that. I just That's funny. It's just really funny.
Yeah, it is. So when people question, whether or not I was a real Christian, whatever, fine. I wasn't a real Christian,
I
whatever.
guess not. Whatever.
Yeah.
So which denomination was it?
It was well, my grandma was Catholic, and when we'd visit, they'd take us to a Catholic church, but my mom didn't really care, so she ended up being non-denomination. And actually, I ended up going to one of the churches that Jerry DeWitt pastored at.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of the last ones he pastored at before he became an atheist. And funny thing is, he became an atheist like right around the time I did,
Yeah.
or at least when he came out with it.
Well, you inspired him.
No, because it was after he left. I had no clue why he left. My mom wouldn't tell me why he left, which
Okay.
is really weird.
That is weird. I mean, do you think maybe she was afraid that it was going to be something that would like catch on and be like trendy with
Probably,
the
probably, but
yeah.
um, that's the thing. Like 2 years after I became an atheist, I found out that he'd become an atheist. I was like, "What? That's crazy!" And I saw how he blew up in the skeptic community. I was like, "Jesus Christ, I used to know this guy."
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's so wild. That kind of stuff is I don't know. You know, my family's experience with or my experience with it in my family was one of like almost a blind devotion from specifically my mom, not really my dad so much. My dad was military and he was just kind of a no bullshit kind of guy, but he did religion is a thing that you do because you're supposed to, you know.
Hmm.
And I wonder if that's not very common for actually a lot of families.
Yeah. It's funny because my dad, even though I was trying to get out of going to church, my mom still forced me to go,
Hmm.
which I still kind of dislike her for. Because it made me feel like she didn't bother, thinking about how I would feel about it. And
Right.
when you're being forced to sit down and listen to what you know is bullshit all day, it can get frustrating.
Yeah, it wears on people after a while. I mean,
Mhm.
This is I don't know. So you feel like the so as a that's such a funny way to come about it. I'm sorry, I still can't get over that.
It's
Um,
alright.
yeah, no, that's great. I love it. So I'm bored of the church. Nah, mom, I'm an atheist. Fuck it, I'm not gonna go. Actually, maybe I am. But do you feel like from there that maybe kind of opened you up to the possibilities of other things too? Like it opened you up to questioning things that
Oh,
otherwise you really hadn't paid
definitely.
attention to.
And like after that, I just started, exploring what it meant to be an atheist or whatever. And based in I went through the angry atheist stage where like, oh, you're all idiots, you all suck. And I'm
Oh yeah.
sometimes still like that, but you
What
know,
I think everybody goes through that at
yeah.
a certain point in
Some
time,
people just stay there though.
That they do. Or sometimes if you're
Yeah.
Dean Esme, you go the exact opposite and just turn into a lunatic. You never
Yeah.
know. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know how familiar you are with Esme. He's a fascinating guy.
I don't think I've heard of them.
He was hardcore atheist back in the day, and then he became an MRA, and from there he basically, I guess he like found God. I might be telling this story wrong. I mean, it's not too terribly pertinent, but he found God, and now he runs a group called Escaping Atheism.
Okay, then.
Yeah,
That's
that
weird.
is his mission in life, is to help liberate all those poor deluded young atheist men. Oh man, let me re-indoctrinate you there, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
fascinating.
but yeah, and like yeah, my dad was never huge into religion either. Um he would make me read the little pamphlets when I was younger in the church. He used to make me read them, not because the religious stuff, but to help my reading level.
Oh sure,
Hmm.
absolutely.
And I think that helped me out in the long run too, because I'm sort of a writer, and I want to aspire to be a novelist, but my fear of it not being good, coupled with my laziness, like keeps me from doing it. So it's like gotta just sit down one day and just force myself to do it.
Oh, I know that feeling. Oh, I know it quite well. Quite
Mm-hmm.
well. Yeah, my own novel like sat on the back shelf for years because of that very specific purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I had a, at the time when I got like the first third of it done, I showed it to my girlfriend at the time, and she was like, "This sucks. Nobody's gonna read it." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was bad. That hurt. It stung a lot.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
But I know my ideas are at least interesting because they deal a lot in sci-fi and philosophy,
Hmm.
and one of them involves a couple. One's a fucking android that was
Mhm.
built by humanity, and the other is a human, just a regular old human. And they're in a society where the androids are the majority and the humans are the minority.
Okay. Okay. I'm
And they
digging
have
it.
developed technologies to be able to convert humans to androids, or at least extend their life to astronomically high numbers, like
Okay.
thousands of years and stuff like that. And the whole
See,
story is them trying, the woman who's the android trying to get him to either extend his life or become immortal, and but he doesn't want
uh,
to, and he's struggling with whether he should or not.
okay, okay. I'm getting it. I really like. I love post-humanism sci-fi. It's something that I actually struggle with a lot. I make all these YouTube videos about like the things that I'm most interested in. I never get to make videos about, and that's
Yeah.
things like that. You know, like the
Hmm.
concept of us living forever. You know, transferring our consciousness into robotic bodies. I love that kind of stuff. I'm a huge nerd for that.
Yeah, same here.
That's cool.
like fucking Christopher Nolan's Interstellar just blew me away. Yet critics tore it apart, and I was just like, I agree with these criticisms, but I still love the movie. Like,
It was still a damn good movie.
oh
Damn
yeah,
good movie.
oh yeah,
Critics are always going to be like that, though. Always.
yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, no, that's wild. So, the other one too that we were talking about a little bit is you've been pretty active in Facebook science and skepticism and like rationalism groups. But you've also seen how ridiculous they can get.
Oh yeah.
I too
Oh my
have
God.
I too have quite a history with some of those. How'd you get involved with some of those?
Oh, I was just bored one day, so I just sort of started joining random groups, and some of the groups that would interest me, like the science one. Like I'm part of the science enthusiast group,
Mm-hmm.
and then like unpopular opinions, and then atheism versus theism, the real debate.
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
debate, whatever. And I've seen some crazy shit. Just people astound me with their their inability to like either over rationalize or under rationalize things in such extreme ways.
Oh yeah, yeah. I always find it kind of interesting because when you get into something like YouTube, there's always a lot of criticism about how much people are doing it for the message and how much of people are doing it for the money. And that argument kind of makes sense on YouTube because YouTube does have a monetization platform, but Facebook doesn't. But you'll run into the same problems too, where you'll have huge science groups, but a lot of them crafted around a person's brand or personality.
Yeah.
And they'll be just as disingenuous, but they're not making any money off of it. And it's really strange, really strange. And I see this all the time. It's one of the reasons I don't go on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. One of the things I wanted to talk about was one of my favorite movies versus one of my least favorite TV shows.
Oh dear, yes, hit me up.
So my favorite movie is Perks of Being a Wallflower, and it's not because I think it's like a masterpiece or anything, but it's just very personal, and I relate to it a lot, and it deals with mental illness in a very genuine way. Whereas my least favorite TV show, 13 Reasons Why, just shits on everything.
I'm not familiar with that one. Tell me about it.
Oh, it's cancer, man. It's cancer. Like at first I liked it, but the last episode just made me go back and just look at everything else and was just like, this is actually shit. Because it's about a girl who kills herself and then makes 13 tapes on why she killed herself, basically blaming people for her suicide.
Wow.
And has a plan to make them public
after she's dead.
If some certain criteria aren't met. It's kind of vague, but it's so fucking just, it makes her like this deity that is untouchable and that is perfect and that perfectly recounts all the events as they were. And then all the other people are just shit and just suck and they're terrible. It's awful. And like, you want to know the last reason she kills herself?
Huh.
She goes to, so she in the show she was raped, and she goes to the school counselor, and she has a hard time, telling him what went on, and he's trying to help her. He's trying to get to the bottom of what happened, but she won't tell him. She only vaguely like hints at what happened. And,
okay.
And it's nothing he can conclusively say, okay, she was raped, I got to do something about it. It's nothing like that. And she storms out because she's frustrated that he won't help and expects him to run after her dramatically and be like, oh, everything's going to be okay. But when he doesn't, is like, you're the final reason I'm going to kill myself.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Exactly. It's fucking retarded. Like, don't just take my word for it. Watch the show in its entirety and come to your own conclusions. But
Okay,
Oh my god.
what's the name? What's the name of this show?
13 Reasons Why. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. It's super it's like the SJW's wet dream because it just concentrates this victimhood into her character so much that it's like Jesus Christ.
Okay, I gotta know. I'm curious who the producers are because I've
One of
been
them
paying
is
attention.
Selena Gomez.
Oh
So
wow.
exactly. But
Um, I've been
but
paying
like
attention to TV producers a lot lately, especially after the
mhm,
Bill Nye thing, because
yeah.
all the producers were producers from reality television. But like this producer, the main producer for it, Steve Golan, he did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, The Revenant, Spotlight, Being John Malkovich. This is a
How?
I know.
Those are
And now
great
he's
movies.
the executive producer for like revenge suicide porn the TV show or something.
But like with 13 Reasons Why, the main message is like basically the main message of the show is you can prevent like, suicide's 100% preventable, and if you don't prevent someone from committing suicide, you suck and you had some hand in it or whatever. And it's like,
Oh boy.
no,
What the
no.
fuck?
Because
That's
like
insane.
one of the last monologues the main character gives is like, oh, we could have helped her and we could have done something. We all killed Hannah Baker. We're all responsible. And I'm like, no, that is no.
I built the dam. Jesus. What the
uh,
fuck? Collective guilt does not work very well with me.
it is not, and it's like no.
It's a hot topic these days too.
Oh yeah,
Collective
and like
guilt.
what it's funny because two of the people on the tapes didn't even really do anything wrong. One of them published a poem of hers without her permission, and the other supposedly tore up a note, which he didn't. And
Uh,
it's just like, what?
so a false accusation and somebody publishing a poem.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I fuck. If that ever happened to me, I know I'd kill myself right away. The fuck.
uh,
Jesus Christ.
I make suicide jokes all the time. Like while I'm at work, I'll be like, "Man, I need some bleach. Can we get me some bleach?" Or
Hmm.
like yesterday, I was like, "Mascaro, I can't hear you. I can only hear the voices in my head telling me to kill myself. They're getting louder."
I think we joke about suicide a lot because it kind of disempowers the tragedy of suicide for one,
Mhm,
and if you can use gallows humor to distract from something, it kind of makes it a little bit more palatable. Like you see something
mhm.
just utterly reprehensible online, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill myself. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go kill myself. You've taken it into such a hyperbolic level that now it's lessened and you feel more lighthearted about it. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
But I'm
Suicide.
usually careful with who I do it around because that can offend some people.
It's true. I've inadvertently
But
hurt
yes,
somebody's
like all
feelings.
that stuff, like mental illness and stuff, is very personal to me because I know a lot of people that suffer from it. Like my girlfriend suffers from body dysmorphia,
Hmm.
and that's really hard on her. Um,
Sure.
and when I see a show like 13 Reasons Why, I just take it to the nth degree and just completely betray it in a really unrealistic way. It's just like, no, you fucking failed. You suck.
Yeah, that's insanity.
Another good movie about that is Silver Linings Playbook. That was a good one.
That's a fantastic fucking movie.
I love that
Fantastic.
movie.
It's a really good date movie too.
Mm-hmm.
It works. Um, yep, really does. Especially if if it's somebody who really likes football, you know.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, that's wild, man. I don't know. It's ridiculous. The suicide stuff in movies, especially with like I don't know these types of tropes filtering in. There was a movie that uh God, what was it? It was a movie that Your Movie Sucks did one recently. I think it was called
Unfriended.
Unfriended.
No,
Yeah.
wait, that was the horror movie one. It was Cyberbully.
Right, right.
I actually no,
That's right.
I actually met a girl online whose favorite movie was Cyberbully, and I'm like, uh, like
Wow.
I didn't even disguise my disgust. I was like, oh, okay.
Really?
And
That's
I was like,
favorite.
yeah, mine's a Perks of Being a Wallflower, and she's like, oh, that's a good one too. And I'm like, yeah, it's better than Cyberbully.
Yeah. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but even Unfriended too, that's another pretty good one of like social pressures and
Yeah,
getting revenge and
but
I
like,
mean, do you feel like maybe these types of things actually do more harm than good to kids too? Because I mean, like there are healthy ways to be
mm,
dealing with bullying and
I think with 13 Reasons Why, it definitely harms people's perception of suicide because I've talked to a lot of the fans trying to get them to see how just insane it is, and they're like,
Mhm.
no, because you can always try harder, and you can always all this other stuff, and it's like if the person doesn't want help, you can't help them. Like
Right.
there's a certain point where their autonomy outweighs your persistence, and
Yeah,
they're
and
just going to do it anyways.
it's putting the impetus of blame on the people around the person who killed
Yeah,
themselves and not necessarily the person that killed themselves.
I've gotten into like full length just debates on whether or not the school counselor was justified in letting her go or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, because she didn't give him any definitive answer of whether or not she was raped or whether or not she was harmed.
Right.
Because for all he knows, she could be making it up, and that's terrible to think, but it happens.
It does. Yeah. And as a counselor, and I mean
And he's
anybody who's
not
going to be dealing with
and
mental health, you have to be aware of that.
I literally saw someone like, oh, they're trained to like pick up on little cues and stuff like that to see if something's wrong. And I'm like, he's a school counselor. He's not a psychologist.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a big difference there.
You know what a school counselor needs to be a school counselor?
Hmm.
Like 2 years of teaching. That's about it.
Yeah.
In some places, all you need to do is be a teacher and then a school counselor, and then you don't really need any mental health training really.
That's true. That's very true. My best friend growing up, his mom was a school counselor and she fell into it just because it was needed. And so she went
Mhm.
and got like the requisite education and whatnot and built a
Mhm.
career off of it. But it didn't take her too terribly long. She was a great counselor though.
Yeah, I just think it's funny though because a lot of people will say schools that get high funding are usually better, and you usually have better test scores and shit like that. But like with me, whenever I went to Podunk, Louisiana school, and then Alabama's really nice high school,
Hmm.
I didn't really see a difference other than the amount of people. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
I saw a few more teachers that were a little more passionate about their jobs, but other than that, I didn't really learn much more than I did in other schools. So it was like,
I think it depends. I think a lot of times it's a cumulative effect.
mhm,
You know, it especially small towns are a little bit easier to get away with lower lower finances and that sort of thing. It's those big cities where they have such huge infrastructure costs, and then when they're like
mhm,
underfunded, that
yeah,
usually I think it's like a powder keg for everything to fall apart. But I
yeah.
mean, I went to a really small elementary school, and I got a decent-ish education. Not bad.
Most of my education came from the internet, honestly. Like a lot of the shit I learned was just scouring the internet and being curious on my own rather than school.
Yeah, the
Oh, dude,
internet.
did you
I
see?
don't I don't think
Did
the
you see
internet
the
was even
kid?
available to me until I was 14. That's when it finally came to my town.
Did you see the valedictorian speech of the kid that was basically decrying the education system that got cut? He
No.
was basically like, school is authoritarian rule over the students, and then it immediately gets cut. And it's like you just proved his point. like,
Wow, that's
by cutting
amazing.
his like you just proved his point.
It is a valedictorian.
Yeah. There's another valedictorian that made a similar speech, but was actually, praised and was like, yeah, awesome. And
That's
then
cool.
this other one that was like, no, you're not going to speak.
Schools, man. I have my issues with, especially
Oh
public
yeah.
schools. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah. It was funny. My parents are like, if you want, we'll pay for our kids' um private school or whatever. And I'm like, as long as it's a secular one, I don't care.
Right. That's kind of an important one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. The It seems like these days, because there's so much else going on, all the other types of stories in the news, that those types of battles between secularism and theism, especially when it comes to like young kids, education,
Hmm.
pressures in politics and society, a lot of times it can feel like it's a resolved conflict, but it's still really there. There's a lot of theistic indoctrination of kids in schools, like a
Oh yeah.
lot.
It's crazy. Oh, it was funny when I was back in my podunk town fucking high school. We did a homecoming week and we did like fictional character day and I dressed up as Jesus. People wanted to crucify me.
Hey,
Yeah.
be better if they wanted to nail you.
Yeah, it was funny as shit.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because I had like a pocket of friends that were all basically atheists or whatever, and they all helped me out, help me make the costume or whatever, and it was fucking hilarious. Because I had really long curly hair,
Hmm.
so I was like, I'm gonna dress up as Jesus. And my friend Logan was like, Yeah, fucking do it. It was awesome.
Jesus, that's fucking funny. Yeah, I don't know. I wish that there was more accepting wiggle room, and it's going to take a long time for it to reach like rural areas. More accepting wiggle room where people can totally have their religion, just not necessarily have to shit it down everybody's throat, you know.
Hmm.
But I mean, like I don't know if you've noticed this. I mean, you've been in Facebook groups a lot, and I've been in Facebook groups a lot, so I'm sure you
Hmm.
probably have seen this. A lot of people, they get out of religion and they become atheists, and then they find something else to be religious about.
Yeah, conspiracy theories, stuff like that. Ugh.
Conspiracy
Oh, my
theories,
favorite thing,
social movements.
my favorite thing is I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, and I'm like,
Oh,
for one, there's no such thing. For two, like because most of them will be like, oh, I'm still Christian, but I'm not. I'm spiritual, not religious, and it's like that doesn't make sense because you still follow Christianity. Like that doesn't make any sense.
yeah. I mean, maybe it's just like a spectrum of belief. But I mean, I think usually when people are trying to say like I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, they're mostly just trying to say my relationship, like they're that's the effective way of saying like the Facebook status of it's complicated when they're, religious status, it's complicated.
They're a
I'm
cock.
spiritual, not religious. I don't go to church, but I mean, maybe I believe in God. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it's cool.
It really irritates.
Maybe they believe in like forest fairies and shit. I do know people who do believe that kind of stuff.
I'm the asshole that always corrects people on the term agnostic
Oh
because they'll
yeah,
always be like, I'm not atheist, I'm agnostic, and I'm like, agnosticism is knowledge claim, atheism is a belief claim. They can go
mhm,
together.
right. It's a bit, yeah, it's different. It's very
Yeah,
different.
and people were
Uh,
trying to because like people will look up the term agnostic and get person that doesn't believe in God but does not or is in between on God or whatever, and it's like yeah, that's the social term. The
mhm,
actual term is a knowledge claim.
right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a really good distinction about that too. I think I think a lot of those as well. Agnostic is usually just a way of being like, I don't want to talk about it. It's
Yeah.
complicated. It's complicated.
Uh,
I mean, the thing is though, I love religion. I don't. I love religion as a concept and the cultural historical aspects of them, but in practice, it's just usually practiced very badly. You
oh
know,
yeah, definitely.
that's my main criticisms. I have the most wonderful conversations with Jehovah's Witnesses when they come to my house.
Hmm.
I just do. They're super sweet. They're super
Yeah.
nice. They're super
I'm like,
nice.
I've thought of calling Jehovah's Witnesses if I ever have a house, but and I'm just
Yeah.
like, you know what? Might as well just like have a conversation. Just
Sure. The thing I've learned, the most important thing you do is, they tell you where they're from and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And before you talk to them, you just stop and be like, I want you to know, I might believe in God, I might not. My mind's not really made up right now. I don't really want to be pressured into anything, but if you want to have a conversation, we can talk. And
Mhm.
like, if you say that to them, they will sit down and they will have a wonderful, polite little conversation with
Yeah.
you. But if you're just like, I'm an atheist, I don't want to talk, then they'll be like, okay, goodbye, and then they leave.
Mhm. But
So
like,
you have to bait them into it a little bit.
yeah. But one of the reasons why I started following you, why I started throwing money at your face, is was the Onision thing. Was
Oh,
whenever you flipped your shit, because that is like, yes, this is like everything I wanted to say to his face, and I was just like, yes. And then I started watching your videos, and I was like, this guy's cool. I like him. He seems like I could like smoke weed with him, fucking chill, watch
oh, jeez.
movies, whatever.
Jeez.
And then because with a lot of YouTube atheists, they're either like super aggressive or SJWs, and like you're the perfect medium. Like Bearing, I like him. I like some of his videos, but sometimes I think he's a little gets away with a little too many insults. Same with Undoomed. Like I think like they're great people and all, but they sometimes just kind of get carried away with the insults, and I'm just like, I'm not here for that. I'm here for
Oh,
like the
sure.
discussion.
So the one thing that's interesting too is I would say that, so Bearing, and I agree with you, Bearing and Doom, they can get things going like into a really harsh direction. But what's fascinating about it is the two of them privately are some of the sweetest people you'll ever talk to.
Oh yeah, I totally get that.
And they're I mean, especially Undoomed is extremely compassionate, and Bearing is a super loyal guy. When I was having trouble with my family, with my mom's health and everything, Bearing would be checking in on me all the time.
Yeah.
Sweet guy. But they also, it's not those men who you see on the YouTube.
Oh yeah, definitely
videos,
not. I don't hold it against them. It's just not my kind of videos I like to consume.
Sure.
Same with the Amazing Atheist. I just prefer not to constantly have just insults all the time.
TJ's a trip, man.
Yeah.
Trip. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think I have found, I think I attribute a lot of my success to simply just being me and not playing a character.
Yeah.
I think people resonate with that quite a bit. That's one of the things that we have online, is you have the ability to be anybody you want.
Yeah.
If you maintain your anonymity as much as you possibly can, you could be, a transsexual merkin with 14 headmates.
Speaking
you can do whatever you want.
Speaking of that, whenever people flipped out about Laverne Cox being in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I'm like, but doesn't that make sense? Picking a transsexual for a transsexual role?
No, it doesn't, because Frankenfurter wasn't a transsexual. Frankenfurter was a transvestite. So what that would mean is, so since transvestism is dressing as the opposite gender, portraying yourself as the opposite. Well, I mean, it depends on if you want to say they're dressing as the opposite sex or the opposite gender. If you say gender, then a transsexual wouldn't make sense because they feel the other sex. So then that would mean Laverne Cox would have to dress like a man in order to play Frankenfurter. And like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I felt that it was kind of shitty that they did that, because that even further pushes away people understanding that transvestism is a completely different thing than transgenderism. And like all these words get totally conflated. I mean, I don't really give that much of a shit. Not really, but it was just one of those like, why do I have to think about this? This is strange.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see it? I haven't seen it.
The new movie or the
new movie? Is it even out?
No, I don't think it's out yet.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Laverne Cox. She's a great actress. I'm not a fan of Orange Is the New Black, but
I do agree there should be distinctions with, like, transvestite, transgender, and transsexual, because they're all different things. And a lot of times you'll see transgender get get thrown around when talking with people who have changed sexes. But
Right.
to me, that muddies the waters. You got it. You know, they're transsexuals. They've become another sex because sex is your physiological
It's so
distinction.
in the early 2000s, it was really easy. It was really easy. And I hung out in the alternative sexuality crowd for a really long time. Had lots of friends, and it was really simple. If you were transgendered, if you felt body dysphoria, you were somebody trapped in the wrong body. You were a transsexual when you started living as that, and you were either post-op or pre-op, and that meant whether or not you'd had the gender reassignment surgery, and that was it. And then there was transvestites, which included drag queens, and there's a distinction between transvestites and drag queens, because drag queens are doing it for show, transvestism do it for something emotional. But that was easy. That was totally easy. You try and explain that to people now, and they're like, "It's just trans," and you're like, "No."
Yeah, because like the army has this weird thing where you can get your gender changed in this system, which it takes a while. It's not like you can just do it anytime. And they basically change your gender from male to female. But when that happens, even if you don't go through gender reassignment surgery or anything or do any hormones, your PT standard still changes.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't think that should be the case. I think because they always in these little talks where they talk about accepting transgenders, which I think are great. They're awesome. Like, and when they do that they make the distinction between gender and sex. They're like, gender is your identity, and then sex is your physical, what
you make up your wobbly bits.
And and they make that distinction, but not when it comes to the PT scores. So it's like, 1 second, someone's knocking at my door. Sorry.
No worries, man. It's like 6 a.m. where he's at, I think.
Sorry, my roommate was late to PT because he overslept.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because I'm off right now, and so I don't have to go to PT.
Nice.
I fucking hate him.
Oh no.
He's just an egotistical douche, and I hate him. Anyways, but like they make this distinction, but when it comes to PT scores, it's surprisingly your gender that determines your PT standard. So it's like, shouldn't it be considered towards sex rather than gender? Because if you do sex reassignment, then yeah, your body will change, and you'll if you go from male to female, you'll have weaker parts. You'll have
Well, I mean, not really necessarily weaker parts. Your muscular system will stay pretty much the same. It's just they're correcting hormones so that you're not going to basically be getting the body mass building of testosterone. But I mean,
and like that's my thing. Is like if you're not gonna, because a lot of people have this fear of, oh well, then a guy can just do that and just ace a female PT test, and it's like, well, for one, it's not that easy to get your gender changed in the system, and two, I mean, but on the other hand, if that does happen, you can't really do anything, and it's like if you were to actually do it to where if they got the gender reassignment surgery or this sex reassignment surgery, that then I think that would just sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
Dissuade people from abusing the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, it would be like, oh well, okay, so that they're not trying to cheat the system,
Right. Because if I'm not mistaken, so basically what you're saying right now is, if you're say a male soldier in the army like you are right now, and you go through the current steps, you could have officially your gender changed to be female. You don't have to get surgery. You don't have to get on hormones, but you then only have to do female PT tests.
Yep.
It does sound like it would actually be abused by a couple of douchey people.
Yeah, but they'd have to be like uber committed. Like
Yeah. Well, shit.
they would have to be super committed.
I mean, are PT tests that bad that you think somebody might do it though?
No, because like at a certain point, the only things that are different for males and females is the push-ups and the run.
Oh,
They have to do less push-ups and do then they don't have to do as well on the run.
right.
But the sit-ups are the same because women actually are able to do more sit-ups than men most of the time.
Do you think that maybe one of the reasons why they don't have the reassignment surgery requirement is because say you're going through the process but you're enlisted, but you don't want to have to take the time out, or you can't get the time out to basically get your surgery done. Maybe it's just for that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
interesting.
like that too. Because like sometimes you just don't have time to do the surgery, or if you're deployed, you can't really get the surgery. So
Yeah, yeah.
and
There's
then,
like a whole there's like a whole process. I think it's
oh,
over.
oh, but there was one article floating around on Facebook where people are trying to say the army's forcing women uh to shower with men because with the whole thing is, you know, basically if you don't have the gender reassignment surgery but you're female in the system, you can still live with females in the barracks and stuff and shower with them in their same showers or whatever. And people are like freaking out, and it's like, no, that's not it at all. They're just saying if you're transgender and you identify as female but you were a male,
Hmm.
and you're now living with females, you can shower with females. It's not saying females have to shower with, you know,
Right.
male to female transgender people. And it's
Gotcha.
like if you walk in and you see that and you're not comfortable with it, you know what you can do? You can walk out and you can come back another time. It's like, it's like
I get, yeah.
it's such a huge conflation. And I'm like, no, it's not how it works.
Yeah, there's usually a lot of hyperbole on both sides and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
My buddy Michael says people abuse the system to get off base when gay marriage is introduced too. Guys who are getting married just to get out of the barracks.
Contract
Not gonna
marriages
lie,
happen- contract
I-
marriages happen all the time. Contract marriages happen all the time. I know of a chick who wasn't necessarily a contract marriage, but they got married they got married within 22 days of meeting each other.
Oh yeah.
And they've been only married a year, and they're just not meant for each other. And I'm like,
It happens.
divorce rates are high in the Army.
Yeah. I think that's kind of unilateral across a lot of the branches for sure.
Yeah,
it's not easy on families. Military life is not always easy on
It's not
families.
just that. It's you have all these young people that are like, oh, BAH is a good thing, and get married immediately to try and help, either because they like their spouse and want to help their spouse out financially,
Right.
or they just do it just to fucking game the system, just like whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a few airmen that I knew when I was growing up. They were buddies of my dad, and they had many ex-wives. Many
Mhm.
ex-wives. Yep. Jesus Christ. There was one of them. He's a heartbreaker, but he's a heartbreaker in that he had no problem ever getting a wife, but he had a problem keeping the wife, and then he'd be broken, and everybody else would have to be like carrying him around everywhere for the next
Wow,
month. Yeah,
that sounds terrible.
yeah, great guy though. That's funny shit.
I think that's my problem sometimes, like, but not in like the opposite way. It's like a lot of my relationships were pretty one-sided. It was either I like them a lot and they didn't really like me, or they like me a lot and I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a few of those.
Like I feel kind of shitty because one of my relationships before I went to basic was just completely one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was very lonely at the time, so I kind of just kept her around to feel, you know,
Companionship.
yeah, feel companionship. But it never got to the level of saying I love you, and she was so really clingy.
Ah.
But the thing is, like, whenever I went to after I came back from basic, she had a boyfriend because we had broken up when I went. And I started fucking her while she had a boyfriend.
Oh no, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that.
But she was so attached to me that she didn't have a problem doing it. So I was like, might as well.
Oh no. Oh.
I have a very interesting stance on that stuff, but I won't get into that.
Yeah, I found out only once did it happen. Only once was I involved with somebody that I slept with, and then I found out after the fact that she was actually with somebody at the time. It only happened once. Only happened once. I'm usually very careful about it, and I got fucking mad. So fucking mad.
See,
pissed.
If they tell me, I won't mind, because my stance on it is if they're gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat. And if you're looking for something, you might as well. As long as you aren't involved and you don't get involved, it's whatever.
It's, for me, a lot of it is it's kind of survival. The people that I used to hang out with were not the most savory of people, nor legal of people. And when there would be like, yo, you fucked my girl, like, when that kind of confrontation happened, it was very unpleasant.
And like,
very unpleasant.
I would never do it to someone I knew, like, ever. Like, if it was someone I knew, I'd be like, no. But with strangers, I'm like, whatever. And as long as they tell me, I don't care. But if they lie about it, it's like, really? Yeah, you didn't have to lie. Because my girlfriend's kind of the same way. She was messing with this one Marine, and he kept lying about having this girl back home. And as soon as he gets back home, he gets back with her. And that pissed her off. She's like, really? You could have fucking told me instead of pussyfooting about it.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Yeah, me and her have an interesting relationship right now.
It sounds like, yeah. That's fun. Yeah. I've always had a really strange attraction to military women. Always have. Always have. There's something about it. Something about a really, really tough, strong, badass, especially Marines. I have a weakness for Marines. When I'm talking to a pretty girl and she mentions she's a Marine, I just turn into an idiot. I'm like,
hey. So you're the guy version of a tag chaser, okay?
Yeah. Weird, man. It's weird. Don't know what it is.
You never believe where I met my current girlfriend.
Where?
You know the app Whisper?
Yes.
I met her on there.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was funny. Because like we had like a short conversation, and she's like, do you have a Snapchat? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you're cute. You should hit me up sometime. And I'm like, okay.
Right on.
And I had no clue where I was gonna go, and I'm head over heels right now.
Yeah, that's good. Congrats to that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny stuff.
She likes Rick and Morty too, so that's a plus.
Yeah, that is a plus. Oh my God. So I'm gonna make a big scene about it here in another stream, but my buddy Michael sent us this Oculus, and last night Memory was like, I don't know if there's gonna be any games that I'm gonna like, and I'm like, and she was like, well, did you ever get that Rick and Morty game? And I'm like, click 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 click. Stuck it on her head, and I was like, okay, I had to go do something, and she's like, yeah, I can only hang out for half an hour, and then I have a bunch of shit I have to do. And I called her like 3 hours later, like, how you doing? She's like, fuck, I'm still playing that game.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that Rick and Morty VR game is cool as fuck, man. It's
fun.
Fun.
I think I've seen videos of it where it's like it's like a choice game or whatever, where it's like Roy.
It's a puzzle game, you know. You have to like figure out ways to do different. Basically, you're a clone of Morty that Rick made to help with inane tasks, but it's ridiculously fun. It's so cool.
Oh wait, that comes out in like a week, doesn't it?
What's the new Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? I thought it came out tonight.
No, it comes out the 30th.
That's right. Yep, the 30th. Yep, yep.
It's the 24th for me here in Korea.
Oh,
Because
you're
we're
in
one
the
day
future.
ahead. Yeah, I'm in the future.
Time traveling, guys. We're time traveling.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
So
Yeah.
I get to talk to my girlfriend a lot because I'm up early in the mornings, and for her that's usually late afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to talk to her quite a bit.
Oh, is she over in the East Coast?
No, more towards she's more in the South. She's like in Missouri or some shit.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Missouri.
So after this, I'm actually gonna go onto Rabbit and watch some movies with her.
Oh, isn't that the best though? Rabbit is amazing.
It's awesome. She had no clue what it was, and I was like, "Get on Rabbit."
I need to do more of them. I've only done 2.
Rabbit was the one that introduced me to Rabbit. That was good. Ryby Jenkins.
Oh, fucking Ryby.
Yeah.
I do every now and then do Rabbit movie nights with the patrons. I haven't gotten a chance to do it as many times as I want to, but
I might not be able to attend many of those because of my crazy ass schedule here.
Yeah, that's true. But it's pretty fun when we do it. The first time we did it was People Under the Stairs, and that's such a god awful fucking movie. Somebody saying I rub my nipples a lot. Am I doing this a lot? Have I been?
I don't know.
They're not particularly sensitive today.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, I'm a huge film nerd. I have lots of movies. This is one of my prized things. The Lord of the Rings trilogy extended on Blu-ray.
Oh shit!
Awesome.
But not The Hobbit, right?
No, I don't think I'm gonna get The Hobbit on Blu-ray. I mean, the second one was okay, but and then I have like just a shit ton of fucking.
Oh Blu-rays. Yeah. Gotta take all your favorite ones with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been really happy because I found there's something called Kodi, Kodi, and it's a media player that you can get for like any computer whatsoever, and then there's an add-on for it, and basically all that program's supposed to be is where you can access like your movies, your TV shows, your radio, all in one thing. But there's an add-on called Exodus, and like if you figure out how to install Exodus on this thing, like any movie you ever want to watch, you can watch it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I usually just go to 123movies.net.
Sure, absolutely. And this one's that one usually works pretty good. I've just found weird shit that I never found anywhere else in there.
Yeah.
Like She Creature. Try and find She Creature, a copy of She Creature on the internet. It's not easy.
I guess I'll try. But
actually don't. It's a terrible movie.
I hate going to the movie theater here though, because for one, they play the fucking national anthem beforehand. You have to stand up, and I'm just like, eh. But then the people in it are fucking retards and just talk during it or do the most like during Spider-Man Homecoming. Have you seen Spider-Man Homecoming?
Oh yeah.
When spoilers here, people. When he asks the girl to homecoming, everyone in the theater started clapping, and I'm like, what the fuck are you clapping for? Just watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I watched War for the Planet of the Apes, and just people would not shut the fuck up. I fucking hate it.
Military movie theaters are always like that. When I lived in Panama on Howard Air Force Base for a long time, and they always got the movies late, like 3 months late after they came out in the States. You know, I'm sure it's a lot better now.
They get them here on time.
Yeah, that was just kind of like how it was in the 90s. And I went to go see From Dusk Till Dawn. And I think I was 14. No, it was probably 14. It's 14. They let me in the movie theater because they don't give a fuck on the military base. They'd sell me cigarettes. They didn't give a shit. But I'm in the movie theater, and this is the first time I'm ever watching a movie in a military movie theater, and it's full of fucking GIs. Everybody is drinking. People are smoking cigarettes in the theater.
Okay, it's not that bad anymore.
Yeah, it was nuts. Halfway through that movie, like there had already been 4 fights in the auditorium because everybody's wasted and they're fucking losing their shit and yelling.
I don't think it's that bad anymore because I don't think they sell beer at any of them anymore. But I don't know. It could be still like that in some
I
places.
didn't sell beer at this one either. They just brought it in.
Jesus.
I mean, it's not like they didn't have any security or anything at this movie theater. I mean, it was a big concrete building staffed by like 3 Panamanians that got jobs there. And so they basically, they like sell the tickets and then they start the movie and then they just like...
Yeah. There wasn't any security at ours either, but people don't get that crazy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was Panama. Panama was nuts.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's so fun.
This is my first time out of country, so it's all new to me.
How's your Korean so far?
It's all right. I just wish there were more people that understood what I was saying. Like I'll go out and I'll fucking like order shit and I just don't really talk to any of the Koreans because I have no clue like if they can actually understand me or not. So it's just like I mean, some of the civilians that work on base are pretty good about it. Like the people who work at the movie theater are really good about it. But other than that, it's just like,
That's fair. Yeah.
But hopefully my girlfriend will be able to come see me soon so we can travel and do shit.
Absolutely. So she's gonna try and come out to South Korea?
Yep.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. God damn. I want to get out of the country for a little bit. I'm jealous.
See how you like most guys have like that fantasy of fucking an older woman or whatever.
The which one?
Where guys, you want a fucking older woman or whatever. My girlfriend's like 5 years older than me.
Oh, sure.
And she has a doctorate and she's a pharmacist, so she makes pretty good money.
That's pretty damn good money, actually. Pretty damn good money.
Yeah.
That's
so
wild.
She's probably not gonna have much of a problem coming here financially, at least. I was like, "You sure?" Because like I don't like people spending lots of money, and like a ticket to here from the States is like $1,000.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all.
And I was like, "You sure you don't want to pay for like a little bit?" And she's like, "I'll handle it." And I'm like, "Okay."
All right, what are we saying? Yeah, I need to get to London and I need to get to Australia. Really bad.
Oh, it's funny because people are like, "Oh, you should visit Australia while you're here. It's pretty cheap." And I looked it up, and it's like $200 less than going to the States. And I'm like,
is it really?
Yeah, it's like so here it's like 1,000 won to $1. So like if something's 1,000 won, it's $1 American dollar.
Right.
And it's like it's 900,000 won to go to Australia, and then it's 1,000,000 won to go to the States.
That's weird. That's so funny.
So it's like, might as well go to the States. Like shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Australia though. I really want to check out Australia really bad.
That's true.
I mean, if I could manage to.
I mean, you totally want to bang Bering, don't you?
Totally want to bang Bering? No.
Yeah.
No, it's not my type. Not my type. He's a ginger. Gross.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's a ginger. I think he's just got blonde hair.
You know, one of my favorite things that happened on your channel was when you were doing the stream for your hacker.
Oh yeah.
And Mems just comes up and is like, "I'm tired of your shit. Come over and come fuck me." I was just like, "That's fucking awesome."
That's memory, all right.
You're just like, "Oh, okay."
You know, a lot of people have this idea of memory being just the super sweet cherry pie. You know, just a really kind, patient woman, and she is extremely kind. She is. She's very compassionate to people. She's not patient. Not. She's not patient, and like. When she gets mad, she gets more mad than most people get mad. And one of the reasons why I wanted to marry her is because she's, when she gets mad, she's vicious, like impressive.
Oh yeah, my girl's the same way, and I'm sort of the same way. I'm I'm an asshole when I'm pissed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Mems is the kind of person who will chase somebody down with a machete if she's pissed off enough.
Yeah.
There's my warrior queen.
She just reminded me of my girlfriend in that instance because I'm like, that's something she would fucking do.
Yeah. Yep, there's something to be said for strong partners, man.
Yeah. She's like, you know, I just want you to know I suffer from night terrors, and I'm like, okay. And she's like, and sometimes I get out my gun, I'm like, okay. So is it like, can I do anything to like mitigate that, or is it just wait for it to stop? And she's like, just wait for it to stop. I'm like, okay, that's something to keep in mind.
Yep.
Hopefully she doesn't murder me in her night terror rage.
Just, you know, if you see her starting to place you know, ice picks near the bed, just, you know, move them.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
She says I calm her down a lot though, and that makes me feel better. Yeah,
absolutely. But okay. So let me get back to my cheat sheet here. Oh yeah. So actually, I did want to ask you about that. So you are a writer, but you haven't. Have you finished? Are you trying to go for like novels or short stories or poetry? Like, what's your focus?
Well, I mainly focus on poetry because at times it can be cathartic and sometimes to, you know, with women or whatever.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, and but sometimes I have a few short stories written that are based on concepts that I want to base novels on. Like one of them I wrote back in high school, and it's still like I'm still astounded at how good it was. It was about a guy who basically falls in love with a woman in his dream. And the little excerpt is like, it isn't him automatically falling in love with her. It's more of just him having the first encounter. And it was basically a story about this guy falling in love with this girl in his dreams. And it eventually builds to the point where, you know, the twist is he's actually in a coma. And that whenever he dreams of his wife who's in a coma next to him, but he doesn't remember her. That's
a beautiful idea. That's a really cool idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I developed while I was in high school, and my thing is like I'll know the beginning and the end, but the middle I'm just like shit.
Well, I'll tell you what helped me. What helped me was making a contract. And I'm not. I just realized what I'm doing. People thought I was touching my nipple. I'm scratching my fucking. I don't know why I'm so itchy today. I'm like a goddamn chimp. Anyway, so what helped me was a contract. I made a contract with myself because I had a very strict, rigid schedule of this is when I would wake up, this is when I go to work, this is when I would be done. And so I found a period in that where I had, which is basically my free time, and I would sit down every single day and I'd say, okay, I have to stay here for 15 fucking minutes and try and write. And if I can't write, that's okay. I don't have to stay any longer than 15 minutes, but I have to try again tomorrow. Every day. Every fucking day. And I started doing that, and I found that for the first week, I got 1 day of actual writing in. The rest of the time, I could not figure anything out. Next week was 2 days out of the week. The next week was like 2.5-ish, but slowly but surely, it came down to I would be ready to write every single time I would sit down. So, I mean, it's just another way of disciplining, you know, and making a deal with yourself that you have to at least try, and it helps. It really does.
This is one of the reasons why I love Perks Being a Wallflower so much, and why it's so relatable to me is that the director of it was the author of the book that it's based on. And that's like awesome. That's like, that rarely fucking happens, especially in Hollywood, that that you get to direct your own adaptation of your book.
Yeah. Your book, your adaptation, and your movie, no matter what. Yeah. That's incredible. We should be able to get more of that.
If I ever get published, and if it ever gets big if, and if I ever get if I ever get movie deals, I'm gonna be like, I'm only gonna say yes if I have the final say on most things.
But some creative control.
Yeah.
The studios and shit will always try and weasel their way out of that.
'Cause I
Or
understand, like I'm all for taking a concept and then from a book or movie and then expanding on one portion of it, or at least taking it and telling a different interesting story with it. Like with Full Metal Alchemist, they took the basic premise of that and some of the basic things that happened in that, and then told a compelling story that separated itself from the manga.
oh yeah,
Whereas-
absolutely.
Whereas with, you know, stuff where they just sort of change little things and it just ruins everything because it ruins the point of the whole thing.
Right.
Like with
Yeah.
the Death Note movie from Netflix, they're changing it to where Light is being pushed by Ryuk and Misa to use the Death Note to make a better world or whatever. And I'm like, that defeats the purpose of the show. The purpose
Is it
of the
an
show.
anime?
What?
It's an anime thing, right?
Yeah. You've ever seen Death Note?
No, I don't watch anime anymore.
Oh no, dude, it's so good. It's a good one.
I haven't watched any anime since Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, dude, you should watch Death Note. It's really fucking good. Oh man.
I still need a break from anime.
But the whole point of the show was the main character Light using the Death Note to make a better world as he saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his story of being, because he's one of the most intelligent people in Japan, and basically plans around this other character L, who's a detective trying to capture him. And it's this really interesting cat and mouse game. And it was supposed to be Light doing it of his own accord rather than being pushed by anyone else. He was the one that pushed himself to do this.
Okay.
Rather than an outside force, because the character Ryuk, he's a god of death, and he drops his death note into the world to just see what happens. He's just like, I'm just gonna see what happens. But in the movie, they're like, oh, Ryuk's this evil person that tries to push Light into killing people, and I'm like, that wasn't the point of the show.
What is a death note?
You write a person's name in the book, and they die.
Okay. See, I was thinking it was like a note, as in like a musical instrument. Is it like you play a song and somebody dies? Kind of like if you play the brown note, somebody poops.
You write their name in the death note and they die.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of rules about it that are in the show, and Ryuk was basically there just to sort of explain the rules and sort of be comic relief sometimes with the things he says. But that was it. He wasn't. He was never like pushing at Light to do this thing because Light was the one that did it. Because it's about his. He's basically almost a tragic hero and a villain at the same time, where we see his downfall from. Because he starts killing innocent people to avoid getting caught.
Okay.
You know? And that makes sense. And it just to show his downfall into insanity, and it's fucking great. But they ruin it by making it to where outside forces force him to do this.
Right. Huh. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing I wanted to ask too, since you're in Korea, have you gotten a chance to experience any of their cinema, or is most of the movies like that comes out of Korea in Korea not actually subtitled to English?
Oh no, I haven't been outside to experience their movie theaters yet because it's more convenient to go to the one on base. But
yeah,
but there aren't many movies coming out that I really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and we get all of them, all the ones that I want to see, like, we get here anyway. So I haven't traveled out yet, but I might one day. I might go with my girlfriend to go see Thor because Thor comes out on my birthday.
I mean Korean cinema. Like,
yeah, I know that
stuff made in Korea.
Like the Korean movies.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Really? Man, Korean cinema can be pretty damn amazing, especially their horror.
I might have to check it out then.
Korean horror is amazing.
Same with Japanese horror. Japanese horror can be very good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen
huge on East Asian horror movies?
Have you seen The Witch?
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah.
Oh, such a good movie.
Yeah.
That was
Hard as
such a
fuck
good
to
movie.
understand. Hard as fuck.
See, a lot of people had a problem with it, but I had a problem with maybe like 2 or 3 lines total in the movie, understanding them without subtitles.
It's mostly just the dad was really hard to understand for me.
Yeah, he was definitely hard to understand in the scene where he was crying. Like
Mm-hmm.
he got really hard to understand. That was like one of the scenes where I was like, okay.
Forsooth, blah 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 blah. Yeah.
He just had such a low resonance that it just kind of garbled everything.
Yeah, it's a great movie though.
Oh yeah.
Twisted as fuck.
Mhm.
Black Phillip. Yeah. No, one of my favorite horror movies of all time is actually Korean. It's a movie called Phone.
I don't think I've seen it.
And it's all about a spirit that can haunt through the cell phone.
Hmm.
It's pretty sick. It's great, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome shit.
This one thing. This one, like I'm a huge horror fan, but I hate most horror movies because they're just basically tropes strung together by very loose plot.
A lot of them are.
And people have this concept of horror in their minds, and it's like that doesn't always have to be the horror that you see. Like with The Witch. The Witch was a completely different horror movie. It was more of like a drama horror and a psychological horror rather than traditional horror.
Right.
And that's why a lot of people didn't like it, because they felt it was boring or whatever. And it's like, you gotta fucking get into the characters, and
what was a really good original horror movie? Well, I mean, it's not really original. There's the concept's been played before, but I mean, it's kind of even like goes back to Battle Royale ish. But the Belko Experiment,
I heard it was okay.
Roaming Millennial suggested I go watch that movie, and I was shocked because it is a fucking gore fest, but it's good. It's good, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun movie.
Speaking of that, I saw the new trailer for the new Saw movie, Jigsaw, and it looks awful. Like right off the bat, they've already ripped off one of the other traps from one of the other movies.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Which one?
Like I think it was in Saw 5 or 6. They had this one trap where these people had collars on, and it was chained to a wall with these blades, these steel blades that would cut off their head if they were dragged towards it, and they had a time limit to get out or whatever.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
And in the new one, they have buckets on their heads and saw blades on the walls. So it's like the same fucking thing where they're being dragged towards the wall and they're going to get their head cut off. But with this one, you could literally just put the chain to the buzz saws and cut the chain.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you can easily get out of that. So I don't see the danger in that. So it's like not only have they ripped off one of their concepts, they've made it useless.
Right. Well, that's if anybody's actually in the movie is gonna be smart enough to try and use that to get out. I love the Saw movies, man. I still love them. I mean, they're ridiculous.
Fun, like the Final Destination movies. They're just fun.
Whatever. I saw. I'm sorry about that. I saw a death scene from, I think it was like number 5 or something in Final Destination, because I didn't watch that one. Featuring like a gymnast on a beam.
Oh yeah, that was the prequel they had.
Was it? Okay.
At the end of the movie, they basically tell you that they don't tell you, but they show that it's the flight that blew up in the first movie. And the funny thing is that throughout the entire movie, everyone else is dying, but the one black character is just sitting at a bar somewhere. And when the plane blows up, he gets crushed by one of the engines. Oh. So it was like a reverse of the trope that the black guy dies first, so he died last.
That's cool. That's interesting.
It was sort of a meta joke, and that whole movie is just meta fun.
So is it the new Jigsaw trailer?
Yeah, it's called Jigsaw. It looks bad.
Yeah.
But I was always interested by Jigsaw as a character, because his philosophy always interested me. It wasn't right or anything, but it was still like an interesting reason to kill people. Right. And that they didn't appreciate life enough, so he made them appreciate life by trying to kill them.
Those who do not
It-
respect life
yeah.
do not deserve life.
Yeah, and I was like, that's interesting. It's wrong. It's terrible, but it's interesting.
I had that same
Then,
thing happen with a buddy of mine. He hates horror movies, but he likes he even more so is like disgusted with people don't understand how good they have it. I'm like, you sound like fucking Jigsaw, dude. And he's like, what's that? And so I explained that it was from the movie Saw, and I kind of explained a little bit of the morality of it. And he's like, show me this movie. And so he watched it, and he's like, that was disgusting, but I really know where that guy was coming from. Let's watch the next one.
yeah.
So we watched it. We watched the whole series. I don't think the last one had been out yet.
Oh no, dude! The last one
but-
had the Saw 3D.
Yeah, Saw 3D. Yeah, I don't think that had been out by the time when we watched them. But when we get done, like now I tell people, yeah, Jason, he's seen all the Saw movies. He's like, I hate them, they're disgusting, but the morals in it are pretty good.
The theme song's pretty good too, but I kind of get tired of hearing it in every film and at the very specific moment that they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they always play it at the end where the revelation is, and it got so overdone that it just became a meme.
It really only gets bad if you're doing a binge. If you're doing a binge on them, then it's really obvious.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen them in a while, and then you hear that song again, you're like, all right,
yeah. And then funny thing about the last one they did, Saw 3D, is that when they filmed it with the 3D cameras, the blood was red on set and everything, but when they converted it to 2D, it made all the blood look pink. And so if you go rewatch it in 2D, all the blood's like pink, and it's funny as shit.
Wow, no way.
Yeah,
That's funny. Holy shit.
Yep.
That's too funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Makes the
god.
bear trap way less effective.
Makes the which one?
The reverse bear trap where it opens your mouth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. God, I love the Saw movies. You're making me want to fucking watch those. But yeah, let's start winding it down a little bit. God damn. We've talked about all sorts of shit. Growing up and the moving around, joining the military, the hilarious way in which you left the church. Yeah, man, no, it's fascinating. I love it. I love doing these. I love getting to know people more than just like little brief things, and not like in a hangout where there are 10 people all talking at the same time. Get a chance to just sit down, have one basic chat with somebody, learn a little bit about them. I like it. I love doing these. I need to get better, because so many of my patrons, they're really, really sweet, and they're wonderful, kind people, but they have to be on my ass to do these, because otherwise, because I have this problem when I'm sitting still. I'll have somebody who will offer in real life, being like, hey, you want to go do this? There will be like all these fun things that I could be doing like over here, even at home, and I'll sit there and I'm like, I gotta work on something, and then I just get back to working, and I don't even think about it, and I lose track of days at a time. Sometimes it's fucked up. So I'm glad you stuck with it when I told you, don't let me fucking forget.
I wasn't a dick about it.
Yeah. No, you're great. No, you're perfect. It's perfect. It was like, oh yeah, shit, we're doing that. Yes, cool, awesome. I'm into it. It takes about 3 days of reminding me that something's gonna happen, and then I'll actually remember that we're doing it.
Yeah.
So bad.
Another one is the Joker. He's like my favorite villain of all time.
Oh yeah.
Fucking, I dressed up as Halloween, or no, I used to work at a movie theater, and they allowed us to dress up or whatever, and so I just sort of did pants and a Joker T-shirt that had like the suit just sort of on it, and then the face paint. and someone asked me how I got my scars, and so I just like did the entire monologue from the movie. It was funny as shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite portrayal of the Joker?
For animated, Mark Hamill, and for live action, fucking Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
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 His performance is actually the performance that got me into the Joker, because that was I wasn't huge into Batman until after I saw The Dark Knight. And when I saw The Dark Knight, I was like, man, this is interesting shit. So I just slowly got more into it, and then got into the Arkham games and stuff.
Oh yeah, those are great.
And I did watch a bit of the Batman animated series when I was younger.
Those were really fucking good.
Oh,
The first
yeah,
series, oh my god, they were incredible.
Oh, did you ever
excellence in animation.
Did you ever watch Samurai Jack?
Nope, still haven't.
Oh my god!
I know. Everybody says that. Everybody says that. They're like, you have to watch Samurai Jack. I will.
Just sit down with Mems one day and just watch it all.
One of these days, if I can get Mems to sit down, like for anything. I tried. I had to like beg her last night to watch the San Junipero episode of Black Mirror with me, because I was like, this is just the most beautiful fucking thing I've ever seen in television. It's incredible. You have to watch it with me. And she's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I still don't really give a shit now after seeing it. What the fuck? That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
they get to find love and live for it. Oh my god, fuck.
Oh, no, I had an ex that actually recently had to because I had a complicated relationship with her. It was sort of off and on constantly, and when I was, alone, I would go to her, and I recently had to break her heart again for like the umpteenth time. But she would constantly like get annoyed at me trying to show her stuff that I liked, and I'm just like, but this is the stuff I like. Like, I want you to experience it with me and stuff, and that was sort of like weird, but but it was funny though, because like. Because she reacted way worse than I expected. Like, I was like, oh, I'm still here for you as a friend. She's like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore because this is, I'm tired of this. And I'm like, understandable, whatever. And she just sort of left, and I was like, okay.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's always unfortunate when it happens that way. But it sounds like this new lady is pretty good about
oh my god,
experiencing shit. And you guys are gonna go watch some movies on Rabbit. Well, I'm gonna let you get to that, and I wanted to say thank you very much, man, for hanging out with me, sharing some of your life with me and with the audience. Just kicking it. So for everybody else, this has been Steven, and I am Jeff. And thanks for watching, everybody live and everybody in the future. We'll see you next time.